This is live. There is going to be a lag between when I actually speak and when you actually get it. So I'm just waiting for a quick sound check and screen check. If somebody is watching me, they can just give me a quick comment in the YouTube thingy chat so that I know I'm audible and visible, and then we will begin shortly. So in case you can hear this and you can see me properly, just give me the heads up in the chat and we'll begin in a moment. Audible and clear video. Great to hear that. So just wait for a minute or so and then we will take a look at the maths MCQs from CUET 2024. So now that I've had a sound check and video check, I think we can begin this session. So hello everybody and a very good evening and welcome to yet another live session by me, Satya of IQ Ideas, where in the past few weeks I have taken you through the solutions of the past year papers of PDEU. I've seen a lot of questions from the past papers of IPMAT. I think last week we had GIPMAT. Before that, we also had a session on NPAT. And a couple of students, in fact, more than a couple, have actually requested, what about the math questions from the CUET, the Central or the Common Universities Entrance Test conducted by the NTA, the National Testing Agency? So I said, fine, let me see if I can scrounge up the questions which were asked in the paper, and here we are. So I've got the questions of math. I hope these were the actual questions because the source is a bit iffy, but fine. So 2024 CUET, the general aptitude paper had English, it had reasoning, I'm sorry, not English, it had maths, it had reasoning, it had GK current affairs, right? So, and because these live sessions are all about the math questions, I put together the math questions from that paper, and we'll take a look at how easy or otherwise these problems are. And here's a teaser, here's a spoiler alert, if that's the word being used, that most of these questions are actually pretty decent, pretty easy, pretty comfortably solvable. There were one or two questions which required a little bit more thinking than what was average, on an average, required for the other questions. But overall, I would say as compared to the IPMs, the IPMAT Rohtak or even IPMAT Indore or GIPMAT or NPAT, the CUET was relatively easy. And if memory serves me right, you also did not have to attempt all the questions. You were supposed to attempt 50 questions out of 60 or something like that. I think things have changed this year. So obviously you will be going to the official website of the NTA and checking up what are the updates on that. But last year you had a leeway of leaving 10 questions. So you could comfortably have left all those questions which were not crackable on the first sight, and still you could have easily got a lot of marks, at least as far as the math portion of the general aptitude paper is concerned. So that's enough of me waffling around, enough of me doing blah blah blah. Let's quickly jump into the questions and see how many of them are crackable on first sight, how many of them require a little bit of extra thinking, so on and so forth. Okay, let's get my ugly mug away from the screen. Which side do I swipe? Okay, got it. Great. First one. The sum of the digits of a two-digit number is 10. Okay. So, and at the end it says I have to find what this number is. Okay. So even before I read this question any further, I know that the sum of the digits must be 10. So from the options, 7 plus 5 not 10, 6 plus 5 not 10, even without reading the entire question, I have automatically eliminated two answers. So let's read further. If 18 is subtracted from it, the digits in the resulting number will be equal. So all I have to do now is subtract 18 from the two remaining options. So 73 minus 18. So 73 minus 20 is 53 plus 2 is 55. So 55 is the resulting number. Are the digits in 55 equal? Absolutely yes. So without lifting a pen, and in fact without even reading the entire questions, we can eliminate two options from the remaining two, check only one of them. If 73 matches the conditions, mark it. If 73 did not match the condition that after subtracting 18, the digits will be same, then I did not even need to do anything. I simply would have marked D and moved because I've eliminated A, B and C then. But here, because B is perfectly matching the conditions, that definitely is my answer in this example. Easy sum, right? Definitely a 10-second problem. Now, I was of two minds whether to actually consider this question to be a math question or not, because it seems like reasoning, syllogisms. But then, of course, in syllogisms, I use Venn diagram and that is math, so fair enough. So it says, in the given question, a statement is given followed by some conclusions. Choose the conclusion which logically follows the given statement. Great. So the first statement, it says, few shops on this road have neon lights. So few I will take as some, right? So let us say this is the set of all the shops. So out of all the shops, some of the shops have neon lights. Great. But they all have signboards. So every shop is supposed to have a signboard. Great. So this is one way in which I can represent it, that out of all the shops, some of them have neon, but all the shops definitely have a signboard. Now, which conclusions? Some shops have either signboards or neon lights. Well, it's not either or because every shop has a signboard. So option 1 is not a great option. Some shops have no signboards is definitely wrong because every shop has a signboard. Now, some shops have no neon lights. So if some shops have no neon lights and few shops have neon lights, well, sort of I can consider that. And fourth, some shops have both signboards and neon lights. Now, every shop has a signboard and out of that, some of them also have a neon light. So fourth is also true. So here I can mark D as the answer, which is supposedly suggested in the key as well, right? So D, that 3 and option 4, the two of them could be correct, can be the answer in this case. Now, let's move ahead from that and come back to our good old math questions. Anubhav spent 14% of income on electricity, 28% on rent, 18% on shopping. Okay, so what has he spent so far? He has spent 14%, 28% and 18%. That means 8 plus 8, 16 plus 4, 20, 0, 2 plus 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 60% he has already spent. 1/4 of the remaining amount is 5120. So the remaining amount is 40%. 1/4 of that is 10%. So if 10% is 5120, then how much did he spend on electricity? Electricity is 14%. So if 10% is 5120, then 14% is how much? So cross multiplication, 14 into 5120 divided by 10, mindu. So all I have to do is 512 multiplied by 14. So 0, 512, 4 2s are 8, 4 1s are 4, 4 5s are 20. So 8, 6, 1, 7, 7, 1, 6, 8. I have option B, 7, 1, 6, 8. So that's it. All you had to do was add up the numbers, find out what was remaining. 1/4 of that is given. Compare the percentages. Very, very basic question, right? So not going to take you more than what? 25-30 seconds to solve this particular one. Nice. Now, it says if the average of P numbers is Q square and that of Q numbers is P square, then the average of P plus Q numbers is how much? Now, technically, it looks a bit complicated, but if you know the fundamentals of how averages function, believe me, a sitter problem, right? So what exactly is an average? Well, an average is nothing but the total of all the numbers upon the number of numbers, right? So if the average of p numbers, so n is p, and the average itself is q square, then I can say the total of the first p numbers is p multiplied by q square. Similarly, the average of q numbers is p square. So the total of the remaining q numbers is q into p square. So the total value of all the numbers combined is pq square plus qp square. And now the total divided by the number of numbers, which is p plus q, will give me the average. And very easy, because pq is common in the numerator, so I can rewrite it as pq into q plus p, the whole divided by p plus q. This gets cancelled. My answer is pq. So the average of the numbers, definitely option C, pq. That's it. So all it did was check whether you know what is the fundamental definition of average. Other than that, absolutely nothing there, right? And believe me, in most of the problems of averages, just remember, average is the total divided by the number is the one thing which will help you crack it. And if it is simple average, most of the time you don't need anything other than this. So this, the fourth problem, definitely an easy one. Okay. Ajay walks at a speed of 4 kilometers per hour. He doubles his speed after reaching exactly halfway. He walks for 12 hours in all. What is the total distance traveled by him? Time, speed and distance, right? Now, you can actually have two different approaches for solving this problem. First is your classical approach, right? The one which school teachers would insist that you show all these steps and you are supposed to do it that way. So let's take it that way. So there are two parts to the journey, right? One, he's walking at 4 kilometers per hour. The other, he's walking at double the speed, 8 kilometers per hour. And he's walking exactly half the distance at 4 and half the distance at 8 kilometers per hour. The total time I know is 12 hours. So time taken for the first half plus time taken for the second half is 12 hours. And speed is distance upon time, which means time is distance upon speed. So the first half distance upon the speed plus the second half distance upon the speed should be equal to 12. Now, the first half distance and the second half distance are same and the speeds are 4 and 8. So d upon 4 plus d upon 8 is equal to 12. So now I can write it as 2d upon 8 plus d upon 8. The common 8 is equal to 12. So I get 3d is equal to 12 into 8. So d is equal to 12 into 8 divided by 3, which is equal to 24. Did I do 8 into 4? 32, 32, 32, 32, 32. I keep on telling, somehow it is stuck in my brain, 8 4s are 24. And try as I may, I keep making that mistake. Thank God I could catch that. 8 4s are 32. But 32 is not my answer. 32 is not my answer. Why? It says the total distance traveled by him and d was each half distance, right? So my actual answer is 2 times d, which should be 64 kilometers. So this is the step-by-step method, the classical method of doing it. But supposing I don't want to do it, right? I'm not very sure about my formula and stuff. Then how do I do it without engaging in too many formulas? Well, I know I have to find the total distance and one of these options has to be the answer. And I know that I traveled exactly half the distance at 4 and half the distance at 8. Let's assume my answer is option A, 32, right? So that means I traveled 16 kilometers at the rate of 4 kilometers per hour and the remaining 16 kilometers at the rate of 8 kilometers per hour. So 16 by 4 will give me 4 hours plus 16 by 8, 2 hours. So if this were my point, I would have taken a total of 6 hours. but I took a total of 12 hours, double. So 32 is not my option, plus double of that 64 has to be my option. I can confidently mark, but let's just confirm. So if 64 was the total distance, each half would be 32. So 32 by 4 and 32 by 8. 4 8s are 32, 8 4s are 32. The total is 12, definitely 12. Right? So either you could have done time 1 plus time 2 is total time and worked it out, or you could have gone through the options. And even if you take the first option and check it, the answer you get using the first option as 6 hours and the actual answer 12 hours tells you that the number you have to pick is double what you have actually picked. That's it. Definitely an easy sum to solve, 64 being the answer. And me, reminder to self, 8 4s are 32, not 24. 8 4s are 32, not 24. Okay. Next one. It says, Aman can go downstream thrice as fast as he can go upstream between two specific points on a river. If the river flows at 8 kilometers per hour, then what is the speed of the boat in still water in kmph? Great. And keep checking the comments. Okay. Now, Aman can go downstream thrice as fast as he can go upstream, right? So, I know my speed downstream is always greater than my speed upstream, supposed to be. And the relation in terms of time is thrice. So obviously the speed downstream must be 3 times the speed upstream because downstream is faster. So 3 times the downstream, the speed downstream is 3 times the upstream. Now downstream is speed of the boat plus speed of the river, which is equal to 3 times. Upstream speed is speed of the boat minus speed of the river, right? The bigger quantity, you add, smaller quantity, subtract. So easy to remember, plus is for downstream, minus is for upstream. And I also know that the river flows at 8. So speed of the river is 8. So SB, let's take X plus 8 is equal to 3 times X minus 8. Now resolving this, X plus 8 is 3X minus 24. So 3X minus X, 2X is equal to 8 plus this, 32. So I get the value of X as 16. What do I need to find out? Speed of the boat in still water. X is speed of the boat. That's it. So 16 kilometers per hour is the answer for this particular example. Definitely an easy one to solve. All you have to remember is that when this boat is going downstream, it's always fast and you get a larger number when you add. So speed of the boat plus speed of the river is downstream. When you're going up, you exert a lot of pressure, but you don't get that speed. Smaller number, difference. So speed of the boat minus speed of the river has to be your speed upstream. Once we know that funda, absolutely sitter question to solve. Okay. Moving on. Oh, this is a lovely question. One of the questions which actually took me some time to understand, right? I mean, the understanding portion is not the tough part, but how to work it out, right? And let's see. This is going to take a little bit of time. Now, it says, a shopkeeper earned a profit in rupees by selling an item which is 3 times the discount offered. Great. If the discount offered is 6.25, what is the profit percentage? Let's have a quick revision of fundas. Cost price plus the profit added gives me the sale price. Marked price minus the discount gives me the sale price. Also, profit as a percentage is calculated using the cost price as the base, but discount as a percentage is always calculated using the marked price as the base. Correct? So, when I know that the discount offered is 6.25%, it means if my marked price is 100, then I get a discount of 6.25 and my selling price is now 100 minus 6.25, which is equal to 93.75, right? 93.75 is supposed to be the price. Now, when marked price is 100, then my selling price is 93.75. So, if my selling price is 100, then what is my marked price? I can calculate that, right? So, if I have to take selling price as 100, then what should my marked price be? So, 100 into 100 divided by 93.75, so 9375 again into 100. So this tells me if my selling price is taken as 100, what will be my marked price? And using this, what can I do? Can I do anything? I don't know. But I can actually rework what my cost is going to be, right? Fair enough. So if I solve this, I think, and I'm going to peek into my notes so that I don't have to spend too much of time. So this is going to be 106.6 recurring, right? So when my selling price is 100, my marked price is supposed to be 106.6. That means my discount is actually 6.6 recurring. Now profit is 3 times this. So 3 times 6.6 is 3 into 6.6, which is supposed to be 20. Correct? So if my profit is 20, my cost is 100 minus 20, which is 80. So when my cost price is 80 and my sale price is 100, my profit is 20 rupees over 80 rupees, 1/4. So percentage profit is 25%. Simplifying this is the pain in the tuchus, but if once you get this, you will be able to understand that discount I took as 6.6, right? So 6.6 rupees ka triple was the profit in rupees, 20 rupees. So 100 minus 20, cost became 80, 80 cost, profit of 20, 1/4, 25%. The other way, the original way in which I was trying to do this was 6.25% is 1/16th. So a reduction of 1/16th will mean an increment of 1/15th, right? And then I was trying to use the options to find out what exactly will give me the answer. Of course, using that also it can be done, but it required me to check every option, right? That's the hint I'm going to give you if you want to try that method. But this I found, although it involves a little bit extra calculation, is relatively an easy method to solve. But remember, in CUET, at least in 2024, you had the leeway of leaving certain problems. So I have a very strong feeling that this definitely would be one of those sums which most students might have left as an option. Absolutely fine if you leave it. But solvable. Definitely solvable. Okay. Comments check. Okay, so far so good. Right. Total population of a town is 50,000. Number of males and females increase by 10 and 15%. Consequently, population becomes 56,000. What is the number of males in the town? Interesting. If you remember allegations, finding out the ratio of two numbers whose combined average is given. This is easy. How? Let's see. My thought process. My original population was 50 and my new population was 56, which means there was an increase of 6,000 over a base of 50,000, which means there was a 12% increase, right? So men, women combined increased by 12%, but men alone increased by 10, women alone increased by 15, and the average was 12, then men and women have to be in the ratio of 3:2. That's it. So if total is 50 and I have to split it in the ratio of 3:2, obviously the number of men is going to be 30,000. The number of women is going to be 20,000. So number of males in the town, 30,000. Mark, move ahead. That's it. You can of course form a linear equation, right? You can say X is the number of men. So 50,000 minus X is women. So X into 110 upon 100 plus 50,000 minus X into 115 upon 100 is equal to 56,000. But then linear equation with too many zeros have to be solved. This, the alligation method or finding out the ratio of the two quantities that combined and make an average, is absolutely easy. So 8th question, wonderful question, done. Now, a 6-digit number has digits as consecutive natural numbers, then the number is always divisible by what? Now, I can of course make the problem as x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, x plus 4 and x plus 5 are the numbers, add and, but let's not do that. It says that it is a 6-digit number and all the digits are consecutive natural numbers. Let's take cases. So I start with 1. So one of my numbers could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ending in 6 is definitely not going to be divisible by 5. So I cannot say that 5 is necessarily dividing the number, right? So it's not always divisible by 5, that is out. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm not going to check whether it's divisible by 3 and 4. Definitely divisible by 2, definitely divisible by 4, but I'm not going to use that pain. I'm going to take another case. Instead of starting with 1 and ending in 6, what if I start with 2? So my number is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, ending in 7. Odd number cannot be divisible by 2 and 4. So now I have a case where 2 and 4 is also not necessarily dividing it. So by default, I'm left with the answer that any 6-digit number where all the digits are consecutive natural numbers has to be divisible by 3. Now, logically speaking also, you take any set of consecutive 6 numbers. Out of 6 numbers, 2 of them will be multiples of 3. 2 of them will be 1 less than 3. 2 of them will be 2 less than 3. So the addition, everything compensates out, will be a multiple of 3. Logically, that is the answer. But even without that kind of a logic, if I just used cases, I can quickly eliminate 2, 4 and 5 do not necessarily satisfy the conditions, leaving me with only 3. So definitely 3 has to be the answer. That's it, right? So a very logical problem, no need to do any paperwork on this, no need to rub any pencils on papers, but you can definitely get the answer to the question. Okay. Fantastic. The average of 101 consecutive odd numbers is 303. Find the largest number. Now, because science student, engineering ka dimag, right? So obviously I will say that, okay, this is an arithmetic progression. So I will put the formula and I will calculate and blah, blah, blah. And I did all that. I got the answer. But then it led me to think, do I really need to do all that calculations? Do I actually need to do any calculation? Why not do this logically? Let's see if we can do this without formulae. It says that I am finding out the average of 101 consecutive odd numbers. Consecutive odd numbers, the average will be exactly in the middle. Yes, because it's an arithmetic progression, right? So for an arithmetic progression, the middle number is the exact number. So the value of the middle number is 303. Great. And for 101 numbers, the middle number is the 51st number. So the 51st number is 303. And every number after it is 2 more. And there are 50 more numbers after it. So when every number after it increases by 2, for 50 numbers after it, the total increment will be 50 multiplied by 200. So the 50th number from 303 will be 100 more than 303. 303 plus 100, 403. Option C. That's it. Did you get what I'm trying to say? I hope you understood this logic, right? I don't need to actually work it out as an arithmetic progression. For consecutive odd numbers, the average is always the middle number. So in the 101 terms, the 51st term is the middle number. So the middle number is 303. So there are 50 numbers after it. And every number increases by 2. So the 50th number will increase by 100. So 303 plus 100, 403. Option C is your answer. That's it. Such an easy question once you understand the fundamental. Otherwise, you could have taken first term as A, last term as A plus 100, so A plus 200 basically, then middle term, so A plus 100, A plus 200, blah, 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 blah. You could have got it, but no need to actually use pen and paper. Logically, absolutely solvable. Excellent. So now I think we can move on. Don't even know why this was asked. If A is to B is 5 is to 6, okay? So A is to B is 5 is to 6 and B is to C is 6 is to 7. Direct ratio is given. I don't even need to manipulate. Then what is, so I can assume each number to be 5x, 6x, 7x. So A plus B is 11x, B plus C is 13x, A plus C is 12x. So x is common. 11 is to 13 is to 12. Option C, mark it, move ahead. I don't even know why we need a pen and pencil for this. Right? 5-10 seconds question. Crack it and jump. Done, che. Okay. So now, next one. Interesting. Aman can do 50% of the job in 16 days. Okay. So, if 50% is 16 days, then Aman takes 100% of the job in 32 days. Bhanu can do 25% of the job in 24 days. So, Bhanu can do 100% in 4 times. 24 fours are 96 days. So, per day, A does 1 by 32, B does 1 by 96, 96 LCM, 3 plus 1 is 4 by 96. So 4 ones are, 4 twos are, 4 eights are. Oh, sorry, 4s are. Okay, so 4 twos are 8, 4 fours are 16. So per day they can do 1/24th of the work. So 100% of the work is completed in 24 days, but I need to do 1/4 of the job. So 1/4 the number of days. So 4 6 are 24. So 1/4 of the job can be done in 6 days. That's an easy question. But it's not a straightforward question that the total capacity or total work done is taken. 50% of the job, 25% of the job, 1/4 of the job. So they've just introduced a little bit of extra calculation, but such easy numbers, right? It's not even as if they are giving complex fractions or percentages. But as long as you are mindful and you don't miss any step, you will definitely get the answer to this one, right? And I have to constantly keep reminding myself, 8 4s are 32, 8 3s are 24, right? Chalo. So, easy question, should be solved. Next one. In 80 liters of mixture of milk and water, the ratio of, okay, so my standard method, the moment I see milk plus water is total. So in 80 liters of the mixture, the amount of milk to water was 7:3. So 7x milk, 3x water, 10x. So I get the value of x equal to 8. So when I know x is equal to 8, so 7 8s are 56 plus 3 8s are 24. 56 plus 24 is 80. So milk 56 liters, water 24 liters, total 80. In order to make the ratio 2:1, so now the new ratio has to be 2:1. How much water should be added, right? Milk remains as it is. So milk remains at 56. So if 2 is 56, then 1 is half of 56. Half of 56 is 28. So 24 liters should become 28. For that, I need to add 4. That's it. How many liters of water should be added? 4 liters of water should be added. Pretty straightforward and easy sum. Hope everybody got this one, right? Easy question, sitter question should be definitely solvable. And for any questions of mixtures and solution, I've always used this one standard method. Milk plus water is total, then just set all the values, compare the ratios, easy. Okay, now, geometry. In a triangle PQR, okay, So I have a triangle P, Q and R. Now P plus R is 150. Now in a triangle, I know the sum of the three angles is always 180 degrees. And I'm given P plus R is 150. So 150 plus Q is 180. So Q is 180 minus 150, which is 30 degrees. Great. Now P plus 3Q is 170. So if P plus 3Q is 170, then P plus 3 into 30 is 170. So P is 170 minus 90, which is equal to 80. Angle P is equal to 80 degrees. Didn't need the diagram actually, because P plus Q plus R is 180 is one of the most fundamental facts of geometry of triangles which anybody is supposed to know, right? Didn't need the diagram, but no harm in making one. So sitter question, absolutely easy to solve. Should be solved, should be earned. Okay. Now comes one of the interesting questions, right? It says Aman invested P plus 3000 for 3 years at 8% simple interest. Anuj invested P for 2 years at 12% compound and received the same amount of interest as Aman. Then find the amount invested by Anuj. Okay. So in this question, what is same is the amount of interest. So Aman's investment will earn what interest? So simple interest is PNR upon 100. So for Aman, the interest is P into number of years 3 into rate of interest 8 upon 100. And that is equal to what Anuj invested at compound. Now the important fact to remember is P into 1 plus R upon 100 raised to N is the amount formula. And here the interests are the same. So the amount which Anuj invested, I have to subtract it from the total amount he received to get the interest. So he invested an amount of P. So P into 1 plus R upon 100, and R here is given the value of 12%. Right? So P1 plus 12 upon 100 for time period of 2 years. P into 1 plus R upon 100 raised to N. But I need to equate the interests. So subtract the P from it. So P plus 3000 into 3 into 8 upon 100 is the same as P into 1 plus 12 upon 100, the whole square minus P. And once you crack this, you will get the value of P, but that is not your answer. Right? It says I have to find the amount invested by Anuj, and so yeah, P is the answer. You have to be careful if the question was the amount invested by Aman, because then once you get the value of P, you have to solve it and add 3000. But here very conveniently they have simply asked what is the amount invested by Anuj, which is P. So solve this, get the value of P, and you should be able to, you should be good to go. I'm not actually going to solve this. I want you to leave the answer in the comments. Let me see how many of you are able to get it right. Right? Practically, I've solved the entire thing. All you have to do is simplify it. Not so easy to simplify at first look, but definitely if you do it systematically, you will easily get the answer of P. Let's see how many of you get it and give me the answer. One of those puzzles which we used to do as kids. In the Delhi Zoo, there are some ducks and rabbits. If the heads are counted, 160, okay? So each duck will have one head and each rabbit will also have one head. So if there are D ducks and R rabbits, then each duck one head, each rabbit one head, total 160. While the number of legs are 450, so each duck has 2 legs, so 2D, and each rabbit has 4 legs, plus 4R is equal to 450. 2 equations, 2 variables, definitely solvable. Multiply this by 2, so 2D plus 2R is 320. Subtract the second from the first, so 2R is equal to 130, R is equal to 130 by 2, 65. What do I need to find? Number of ducks. So if R is 65, D is 95. That's it. I am sure we have come across this problem at some or the other time in our childhood, right? In fact, I think this question should be there in the NCERT textbooks as well. So ducks and rabbits, all we have to remember, everybody has one head, but ducks 2 feet, rabbits 4 feet. Fantastic. Okay. Now it says Ankit and Raju decided to start a business and they invested 5,500 and 6,500 respectively, right? So after 11 months, so the amount of time for which they have invested is the same. So the profit will simply be in the ratio of their amounts invested. So Ankit is 5,500 and Raju is 6,500. So if I were to find the ratio of their investments is 11:13. Now the difference between their profits is 680, right? So 13x minus 11x, 2x is equal to 680, which means x is equal to 340. So if x is 340, what is the total profit? Well, how much profits did they get? 11x and 13x. So total 24x is equal to how much? So 340 multiplied by 24. 0, 2 zeros are 2 fours are 8, 2 threes are 6, 4 zeros are 4 fours are 16, 4 threes are 12, 13, 0, 6, 1, 8, 8160, definitely an option. Great. When such non-regular numbers turn up and you get the number, feels so good. So definitely 8160 is the answer that we are looking for. Right here, fortunately, because the amount of time for which they invested was the same, so it does not matter that it is not an entire year. The ratio of the profit splitting will be the ratio of the investments made individually. That's it, easy sum to solve. And let's move on. This was a great question. It says PQR is a triangle and the bisector of the internal angle Q and external angle R, they intersect at M. And QMR is 40 degrees, then what is angle P? Okay. Took me some time to understand it, took me some time to work it out. And if anybody else has a better way of doing it, I would love to hear your solution. I would love to see your solution. But here's what I did. So it says PQR is a triangle, right? So let's say this is P, Q and R. Bisector of the angle Q. So I have an angle bisector here. So let's say both these angles will be X because it's the angle bisector. And external angle R. So this is the external angle R. So I have another bisector here. So let's call these two angles as theta again. And they intersect at M. So this point becomes M. Nice. Now, if angle QMR is 40, so QMR, this angle is 40 degrees, then I have to find out what is angle P, right? I need to find out what is angle P. Okay. Now, let's name these angles as Y. So this also will be Y because vertically opposite. So what will be angle P? Now the three angles for this triangle should add up to 180. So if I call this angle P, so P plus X plus Y should be equal to 180, which means 180 minus X plus Y will give me P. So if I know the value of X plus Y, I just subtract it from 180 and I will get the angle required. Great. Now let's focus on this triangle. Y plus theta plus 40 again is 180, which means Y plus theta is 180 minus 40, 140 degrees. Okay, so Y plus theta I got. What else can I do? Now, I know that the sum of the interior angles, the remote interior angles, is equal to the external angle. So, P plus 2 times X should be equal to 2 times theta, right? And P I know is 180 minus X plus Y. So, instead of P, if I write this as 180 minus x minus y, opening the bracket, plus 2x is 2 theta. Then I can simplify this a bit, right? I can write it as 180 plus x minus y is equal to 2 theta. So I also have y plus theta is 140. So instead of y, if I put that, what can I get? 180 plus x minus 140 minus theta is 2 theta. Or am I complicating things a bit? I seem to be complicating it a bit. So let's not go there. Let's try to see if we can simplify things otherwise. So back to my notes. Okay. So x plus 180. Okay. Let's avoid this also. So I got y plus theta is equal to 140 and 2x plus 180 minus x plus y is equal to 2 theta. Okay. So 2x plus 180 minus x minus y is 2 theta. So 180 plus x is equal to y plus 2 theta. Okay. Y plus theta is 140. Great. So y plus theta I can replace and get 180 plus x is 140 plus y. Okay. So I get 180 minus 140, 40 is equal to x minus y. Does it really help me in any way? 140 is equal to x minus y. I'm getting a bit lost in my calculations. Let's reset. Okay, step by step. I know that y plus 40 plus theta is 180. So y plus theta is 140. I also know that this is 180 minus x minus y plus 2x should be equal to 2 theta. So from there I can say that x plus 180 is y plus 2 theta. So x plus 180 is 140 plus theta. Correct? So x minus theta or theta minus x, let's take it as theta minus x. So theta minus x can be taken as 40. Okay. Now I can compare the thetas. Great. So theta is 140 minus y and theta is 40 plus x. So 140 minus 40 is x plus y. So x plus y is 100. Got there. And I already knew that this is 180 minus x plus y. So x plus y is 100, 180 minus this. 80 degrees. Got it. Definitely, I'm not going to waste so much of time in the exam. So one of the problems which I'm allowed to skip, in fact, required to skip 10 problems, this definitely would have been one of them. But if I'm not allowed to miss out on any questions, then I should know how to solve this one, right? So not an easy one, and I'm sure there must be an easier way to do it. So if any of you have an easier method of cracking this, please do it. Please leave it in the comments, right? Even I'll try my best to see, is there an easier non-nut cracking method to solve this particular question? Chalo. Oh, that's it. So these were the only questions which were there in CUET 2024, I guess, from the quant. Of course, reasoning and GK sections. I did go through the GK questions. Pretty decent actually. Combination of history, basic geography, current affairs, and so on and so forth. So very strongly, I would recommend that you brush up on all your fundamentals. CUET is an easy paper to crack as far as the general aptitude section is concerned. But with the large number of students giving this paper and the limited number of seats across the institutions, it is definitely going to be a competition. So here's me wishing you all the best. Do like, share and subscribe. If there is any other question papers, quant section or any other section which you want me to solve, then please do provide me with the questions with the paper, and I'll do my best to come up with the solutions for that. If not a live session, definitely a recorded video. With that, this is me, Satya from IQ Ideas, wishing you all the best. Have a good day.